Hello, in this video I will show you what crew perks you should take for the newly released crew in update 1.26. I will go over all classes and also refer them in those classes each other with different playstyles like aggressive playstyle and defensive playstyle. I will start off with the Leopard 1, the most popular tank, and go over the crew perks. So here you see the perks, I will explain them, why I took them, and you should train them right in the order they are listed here. First off, I would take Brothers in Arms, then Concealments and Repairs. These are those basic perks, they are not changed, and these are just those basic perks you should take for sniping tanks like Leopard 1, Concept number 5. So these are just examples what I'm showing you for each tank with similar playstyle. Next on, you should take Recon. This is also improving your view range. You need this for those sniping tanks. And then a newly released perk is Emergency that gives you a crew efficiency bonus by 5% after receiving damage. So these are just small nice bonuses here. All those per new perks with situational effects, they are giving nice helps, but they're not really, so you shouldn't expect that your reload time is getting cut in half and you only reload 4 seconds or running part. No, it is just giving a small boost. You see here 0.2 seconds and some other bonuses. And for the last perk here, I would take Practically. That decreases your cooldown time for consumables. If you take a big repair kit, its cooldown time will be 60, and with that you will get 53 seconds. Here for the radio operator's perk, I would take View Range, then Signal Interception. This is actually a very nice perk. Like before the before the lamp perk, like the lamp. Where is it? Yeah, before the notification of being spotted, previously it was 2 seconds, and when it was like make a basic perk for all commanders, now it is 3 seconds, and here you can decrease it again by 0.75 seconds, but with ventilation it also stacks up, so it will be about 1 second, so you will be notified now 2 seconds after you are getting spotted. Also jamming, 1 second less spotted, this is pretty nice. Not firefighting. On tanks like UDIS 1516, I would actually take firefighting because instead of jamming, because this tank is burning a lot, so on UDIS 1516 I would take firefighting. I wouldn't take those because, well, they're giving only really small boost, and, well, this won't happen a lot here, and this also not. Going to the gunner's perks, Brothers in Arms for Concealment Repair, Snapshot, like Snapshot, Stabilization Increase. Then, well, Designated Target, it is just making the enemy being 2 seconds more spotted to you. I think it's a good perk here, and, well, then I would actually take Armorer because, well, it is just increasing the minimum damage. You won't have those really annoying low rolls. But the main thing why I'm taking is because I think those are useless. Concentration is really useless. 3 seconds after you stay, your gun dispersion rule will decrease by 3.5 seconds. This is very useless, so you have to stay for 3 seconds, and then by that small amount, so this is useless. This is not necessary, 2.5%, this is really not necessary. And, well, this is just some RNG based perk. Well, this also, but I just prefer this instead of this. Here, Brothers in Arms Consumer Repairs, this is just basic. I am taking on almost every crew. Smooth repairs. Off-road driving, this is just making the tank more maintaining its speed faster. Smooth ride, and then engineer, well, smooth ride against stabilization increase. Engineer, well, just a small toy, if you can say so, making it by 1 kilometer faster, and I'm just taking it because I don't think you need those perks. On loader, again, those 3 basic perks. Then I think Intuition is an important perk. To switch between gold ammunition and non-gold ammunition. Even if you play only on gold ammunition, you can just change as fast as you can on HE to just shoot an FE, for example. Then Adrenaline Rush, I pretty like the perk because it's now 25% of your hit points and you will be in the state a lot. So almost every battle where you have about 25% of hit points left. And so in the new part it will be about 400 HP. And then you will just increase your gun reload time. So previously it was, I think, by, I don't know, 25% when you are about like it now it's more situational in every battle, so it's 25% and only 5% decrease of gun loading time. Then I would just take close combat that reduce your gun loading time a bit if you are fighting close to an enemy. And on tanks that have low shell velocity, for example on an UDES 1516, it has only 1000 on basic shell and about 800 on gold ammunition, I would definitely take this one and instead of this one. This one is pretty useless, 2 more damage, well, and save storage just on tanks that ammo rack a lot. Actually, this tank is getting ammo racked pretty good amount of times, but, well, I am still taking this one. So this was before a Leopard, a tank that is rather defensive sniping, and then I would also make, like, for example, a 121. So here, brass and arms concealment repairs, then just recon emergency practically. It's the same one here, brass and arms, like the same ones, like on a Leopard. Here also the same ones, and here actually also the same ones. So you see it's not much changing here. On a E50M you could, the only like difference I could imagine is on a E50M to put on a controlled impact instead of an engineer. And I would say they're both staying the same. So aggressive tanks are also like the same perks I showed. Now I'm going over to the heavy tanks. And here I'm having two examples, the Object Torrent 77. Brothers and arms repairs, I'm not taking concealment. Heavy tanks mostly don't need concealment. There are some situations where you will stand in a bush, but they're not as often. Then I would take emergency, it will happen a lot for you on heavy tanks. Then recon, you still need view range. Then practically comes before recon, sorry. So practically, and then sound detection. Well, the negative effect of stunning is reduced by 10%, so that's a nice addition here. Stun won't be as annoying, but it still be very annoying, I think. So that's for heavy tanks, then here's the same for the gunner perk, but here I'm taking Deadeye, I'm not taking concealment. One perk of concealment won't really make a lot. And here I'm taking brothers and arms repairs, off-road driving, smooth ride, engineer, and then controlled impact. So for some nice additional damage on ramming. Brothers and arms repairs, intuition, adrenaline rush, close combat, and safe storage. I just made safe storage because I do not think this, for example, this tank needs a shell velocity increase. It's definitely not the best 1030, but if you're able to aim at distances, it's good. And so you definitely do not need this perk if you're good at aiming at distances. And on heavy tanks, you will mainly fight at close distances. So here are a few changes. And these are the brass arms, repairs, recon, emergency, practically. And now I'm taking coordination. Why is that? Well, on those magazine tanks, if you are spotting a tank, the first shot often take a lot to aim, so here it will be a nice increase in aiming. Yes, that's one difference here. Brothers and arms repair snapshot, like the same here. Brothers and arms repairs also the same on a X50B, definitely controlled impact. On a T57 heavy, maybe clutch braking because you will not ram on a T57 heavy. Here, yes, brass and arms, repair, situational awareness, signal interception, jamming, and here I would take firefighting. Yes, let's take firefighting. So this would be just the average perk I would take on heavy tanks. You do not need concealment, you do not need those two perks. You could actually think that side by side would be important one. Well, yes, actually that's why the last perk was missing here, because I was thinking about firefighting and side by side. But what I was thinking actually is when you are side by side with an ally, you usually do not need an advantage over the enemy by those 2.5%, it's minimal, because you will already get help by your ally, and then those really milliseconds won't really help you. And rather firefighting, less RNG, well, you still do take additional damage with that, but if you're driving with fire extinguisher, then you should take side by side, because then firefighting will be useless. So I will go over to the TDs now. And here I'm deferring again two tanks, Gorilla and Minotauro. Gorilla, brass and arms concealment, recon, repairs, emergency practically. Here also almost the same like on other tanks. Brass and arms also, but here I'm took reliable placements. You do not need controlled impact. You do not need that, definitely. Clutch braking, also not a perk I think is great. And near well. And well, actually, here you will, I think like it's working, you will take 10% less damage from HE shells. That's like I understand what it means, so some tank has 430 HE shell damage, you will take 480, so that may help you sometimes. Here, barrels and arms, concealment, repairs, restoration awareness, signal interception, and jamming. Like jamming is, I think, a really good perk for today's, as well as signal interception. So those are very important perks for sniping tanks, as well as situational awareness. Here, brass and arms, concealment, repairs, intuition, adrenaline rush, perfect charge. You have perfect charge. Why? Well, you do not need that. I think close combat also, you are not sniping TD. You will encounter probably tanks from time to time in close combat, but perfect charge would be it would just make your TD play style more comfortable. And the same perks on the second loader, the perks, well, it's yeah, the game is making an average of those perks. So if you only one loader has adrenaline rush, then it will only count as 50%, and if both have those, it will count as 100%. So if you have same qualification on a tank, you should take the same perks on both tanks, except you want 50-50, but I really don't think so. Next, Minotauro, also brothers and arms, like almost the same. Also the same, like on the tanks. Here I have engineer, except of reliable placement. And here I also have perfect charge. So you may actually think that, well, this tank has only 4 crew perk, and here you see I forgot. Yeah, radio operator is just like is the commander, and for example on a gorilla, the radio operator is an extra thing, and you may think you could take more of those perks, but it's not the case, because you still have to take those 3 basic perks. Well, you do not need to take them, but they're basic. I think they're necessary for almost every tank. So it's not giving you an advantage if a radio operator is an extra crew member than if it's just not an extra crew member. So now I'll go over to the light tanks. Here I'm only having different examples, the Manticore and the BR. The Manticore is kind of a special tank with crews. It only has 2 crew members. You see I'm having 2 extra roles for the commander. Brass and arms, concealment, repair, recon, emergency, practically the same as always. So you see the commanders almost always the same, except on heavy tanks, sound detection instead of concealment. Here, brass and arms, concealment, repairs, off-road driving, smooth ride, engineer. Well, this is just a driver qualification. And oh, I actually skipped the commander. I haven't showed this one. Yeah, and here I was a bit thinking about situational awareness, signal interception, and jamming, and then maybe take communication expert. But then I decided that even jamming might be more useful because you see 6 meters more view range and like those 0.4% more concealment are definitely not making out a difference. And I would just take jamming. It would be just a gimmick if you take this. Wow, yes, it would be just a mini goal in a battle. Well, I spotted 1470 assists. Now I'm getting a bit more crew, but I think just the 2.5% aren't really much. So I would rather take jamming. Yeah, and the driver second qualification would be adrenaline rush, intuition, and close combat. Because sometimes you will counter tanks at the close, and maybe you need a bit more faster reload. Well, still the perk is not making a great difference. On an EBR, so you see brass and arms, concealment, recon, repairs, emergency practically. Here also the same like with the Manticore. Also here the same like on almost every tank. Brass and arms, smooth right off-road driving. Engineer, actually have engineer. You see the EBR will go 94.39 speed, so you can reach 94 kilometers per hour. A bit a faster EBR, but still not make any difference. Here, brass and arms, there's just an extra crew member with a different picture here. Concealment, situational awareness, signal interception. This is, like already said, very important perk. Jamming and firefighting. Firefighting because the EBR is burning a lot in my experience, and it would be useful to not get burned so down on this tank. So I would also take the same perks, for example, on MX1315, like on the Manticore, but then just take the 3 basic perks and the additional bonus perks. Now I'm going to the last class here, the artillery. Yes, I'm even making perks on artillery. Brass and arms concealment, sound detection. Well, why sound detection? Well, perks are almost not very important on artillery. You just sit at the base and shoot, and most of the perks are not useful for it, like recon. What do you want to spot with artillery? Sound detection as a third perk, because if artillery is blinding you, it may be useful to see that artillery is blinding you, and then maybe you can react fast and just push the V button and escape the blind shot of artillery. Then emergency, if you are damaged, but those 2 perks are just like, no, they are just useless for artillery, I think. Brass and arms, snapshot, well, this is one you need. Then designated target, well, yes, just 2 seconds longer visible. I think this is a great perk actually, that 2 seconds more visible. And you will be 1 second less visible. And for example, if the enemy won't have this perk, he will be visible 12 perks, but you will be visible 9 seconds. And not 12 perks, 12 seconds. Then quick aiming, well, it's just somewhat improving, but I don't think it's really improving a lot. It's just somewhat improving. Then armor and concentration is just somewhat improving because you do not need those perks. Brass and arms concealment, smooth ride. Off-road driving, clutch braking, engineer, useful perks. Useless perks for artillery. Then brass and arms concealment, intuition, pretty useful for artillery. Damage, like armor piercing rounds or just stun rounds. Then intuition, yes. Perfect charge. This is actually an interesting perk for artillery. You see in the preview you can see the artillery. So artillery shells will be 10% faster. Let's see how fast the shells are on this artillery. 510, so it will be 560. The shell will be faster, and I think you will notice it a bit. It will be just 0.2 seconds, I guess, 0.3. And the same perks on this guy here. Also ammo tuning. Actually have no idea how this affects the HE damage. And adrenaline rush. I actually didn't show those perks. And here, actually, side by side, if you have a second artillery team, you can just stay together and be a bit faster with reloading. Then communication, communication expert actually first. I tested it and it actually working on stun damage. So if you're just so if your team has shot 460 damage while you stunned a tank, you will get 2.5 bonus to the tank. You see, you will reload 0.5 seconds faster. Also 0.5 seconds faster with those two perks. So 1 second faster reload time for artillery. Not really sufficient, but still nice to have. Signal interception as for the last perks. So you see, this was a video just about the crew perks. I think, well, they are just a bit new gimmick with those perks. They are not really a great impact on those tanks. It will be just some pop-up. Your reload time will be a bit decreased. It won't be really decreased by a lot. It will be really just a small decrease, and it's just a gimmick. Some things are nice. For example, the jamming. I like this perk, and also that firefighting is now 1 perk. This is also great. You can put it on tanks like UDIS 15, 16. This is a nice change in this update. And also you can only take 6 perks, so it's just a bit more. So the overlay is like, so it's now easier to pick up the perks. So overall to say, I would like the new system. So I would say that's it for this video. Like and subscribe. And you have questions about the perks or want to know a perk about specific tanks and you didn't understand something, you can write in the comments. And that's it. Bye.